Hello, Theo traders. Gianni DePocia here with you, and today is the 24th of September, 2024, and markets notched another positive close on the day. We saw some notable leadership from the tech and semiconductor sectors, which I'll show you in just a moment. But let's take a look at the S&P 500 here as it continues to trade near the all-time highs. It closed at a new all-time closing high today, which is as bullish as it gets, and it looks like we're getting that resolution higher from this ascending price channel formation, or excuse me, ascending triangle formation. And this is projecting a move potentially as high as 62, 6,300 bucks. So stocks are looking bullish. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit more sideways price action here, but I'm liking what I'm seeing under the surface. I still need to see technology improve some more, but the fact that the NASDAQ took out that high from the 22nd of August is definitely a step in the right direction. And here too, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit more sideways action before eventually exploding higher. Now, tomorrow and in the coming days, we will have some key data, especially the PCE reports on Friday. And then in the coming days, we're going to have a lot of Fed speak, a lot of Fed governors set to speak. I don't think so much the Fed's going to move the markets, or the governors rather, but I think that the PCE could be a catalyst for higher prices. And as I'll show you in a moment, crude oil starting to rally, but not really in a convincing fashion. If we consider that the PCE data is laggard in nature, I don't think that it's going to lead to a major shakeup in markets, especially with bonds looking as bullish as they are. But let's take a look at some of the chip names. You look at Philadelphia Semiconductor Index notched in a solid 1.3% gain. NVIDIA had a decent day, up almost 4%. So that is looking pretty solid. But you look at some of the other chip names, Advanced Micro Devices. Obviously, Micron has earnings tomorrow, going to be an important day for this stock. But you compare this to Broadcom or Taiwan Semiconductor, just much weaker setups with respect to AMD and MU compared to AVGO and TSM. I think you would want to focus on the latter too. If you take a look at the big tech sector, Apple looking constructive. It's really only Google in this space that I'm not really that enthusiastic about, but I'm a big Tesla bull. We own Tesla here. And also when it comes to Meta, we own both of these names within the Magnificent Seven. But you take a look at Microsoft, not as exciting. Even though Netflix is not part of the Magnificent Seven anymore, I do really like the setup here. It looks pretty strong, and I think it's going to explode to much higher prices. Let's take a look at bonds since we mentioned that just a moment ago. Looks like a higher low is complete. We did see shorter duration lead to the upside, which is a bit of a cautionary signal, but I'm not going to worry about it too much at the moment. I do think that the inflation data could change that. But what I think is really bullish and still very bullish is precious metals. Now, to be clear, gold is in our upside price objective of $2,650, $2,700. We could see a temporary top form followed by a multi-week consolidation or corrective decline. But if you didn't see what silver did today, it absolutely exploded higher. And if we look specifically at the December contract, we are not far away, about 60 cents away from closing at a new multi-year high. That would be a very bullish development and potentially send silver prices into the high $30 area. And in that case, I would look for some of the names that we've been all over, Anglo Gold Ashanti, Agnico Eagle Mines, El Dorado Gold. These are still very strong setups. And if you look at GDX, the ETF compared to SIL, the silver ETF, it was up almost over 5% today. SIL, that is, and it already did close at a new high. So the fact that we're seeing miners outperform, silver miners outperform specifically, is an even more bullish sign. And I think this is a really good signal that what we're seeing in precious metals is legit. We did see the dollar continue its sell-off, notable lower high in the USD JPY. You compare the euro to the dollar, a solid close there. So our euro longs in the futures markets continue to work. We're also long silver, by the way. I should have mentioned that. Still long silver. That continues to print, and we're seeing that continue higher. I do want to bring up cryptocurrencies because what I'm seeing in Bitcoin and Ethereum is very encouraging. I still have long positions in MicroStrategy, which was up 2.6%, as well as Core Scientific, which was up another 3% and at a new all-time high. I do want to share App11. This is a name that we were actually long in the AI timing web service, and we've already captured half of the position gains, and it continues to make new all-time highs. So we've made quite a bit of money on this one and have since tightened up the stop loss. But some other names that we've been in as of late, you take a look at some of these gym names, fitness centers, Lifetime Fitness, as well as Planet Fitness, both putting in solid days. I remember sharing my bullish stance in the biotech sector. I have a long position on Viking Therapeutics. That one's being a little it's misbehaving a little bit, let's say. But we're going to give that a little bit more time. But I do want to share crude oil here with you because even though we've seen a rally over the last couple of weeks, it looks like this may just be a retest of former support turn resistance. And in this case, we could see a greater breakdown. Now, interestingly, once upon a time, we used to have a situation where when the dollar was up, crude oil would go down. But the dollar's been losing value over the last, really since April, and crude oil has continued to decline. So I think we've seen a massive paradigm shift with respect to the macroeconomic situation. That is, I think that inflation is actually bullish for the dollar at this point. And I think the Fed's playing with fire. I think inflation will eventually make a comeback. But in the meantime, what we're seeing across the markets is very much a risk-on scenario in terms of the dollar coming down, being a tailwind for risk assets like crypto and precious metals. We have other names in the precious metal space like Pan American Silver. This was up 6% today. Wheaton Precious Metals up 2%. AGI is at a new all-time high as of yesterday. It was down a little bit today, but it still looks very strong. So the names in those space are looking good. And again, with the whole crypto situation, you also have names like Mara and Riot, but those are not technically as strong compared to their counterparts in core scientific and MicroStrategy. We want to focus our efforts on the strongest names in the strongest sectors. And so with that being said, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover with you today. I think focus on the solid risk reward setups. Don't force any longs here, despite markets looking bullish. And I am a big real estate bull as well. You take a look at XLRE. A lot of these REITs doing well, especially I like the one in the healthcare space, Sabra Health. This is an idea that we shared in the chat room. Had a nice yield, nice technical setup, and seems to be continuing higher within its longer term bull trend. So as of right now, the path of least resistance seems to be higher as central banks around the world, not just the Fed, inject more liquidity into the system. It's really just the Bank of Japan that's not doing so. So we'll keep an eye on this and keep you posted with any updates going forward. In the meantime, hope to see you in the chat room. And that's all for now, everyone. Take care and have a great rest of your week.